This podcast is recorded on the lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nations. We pay our respects to the traditional custodians of this country and elders past and present. We extend our respects to any First Nations, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people joining us today. Welcome to today's episode of No Spoons to Give, the podcast where we explore life's ups and downs with neurodivergence, chronic illness and disability, and we chat with the voices that make our community so wonderful. I'm Larissa and I've also got Maddie here with me. How are you, Maddie?
I'm doing well, coping in this heat.
It is so warm in Melbourne at the moment.
Really
I don't know what is with the weather and the traffic, but anyway, we made it here this morning and here we are.
We're here in one piece.
We made it.
Do you have a recommendation for me today?
I do, and I'm going to preface this with an apology because my recommendations are getting more rogue and broad each week.
I love that.
But our podcast, our rules. So this one is more specific to Melbourne, Australia, but I know that they run these events around the world. So I discovered yesterday that Melbourne Aquarium runs monthly sensory sessions where users with different sensory needs can go to the aquarium. There's less crowds, less noise and less lighting. And you can go into like the areas with the jellyfish, different beautiful sea creatures. It's only $10 as well, which is super financially accessible.
That's so good.
Yeah, and it's on a Saturday. I'm pretty sure they change up the days, but a Saturday is, I guess, great if you work Monday to Friday. We've had some Spoonies go to similar things in their own countries. So if you do have an aquarium nearby, see if they offer this. Also thinking of running a Spoony meetup at one of them. If anyone wanted to join, let me know in the comments.
That's a great idea. I would be so down.
Yeah, maybe we can go together.
Yeah, please.
Have you got a recommendation for me?
So I have a book for a recommendation today. Surprise, surprise, I know. It's called The Pretty One, On Life, Pop Culture, Disability and Other Reasons to Fall in Love with Me by Keah. It's a refreshingly honest, charming and thought-provoking memoir made up of a series of essays that includes growing up with a disability, the intersectionality of race and disability, and finding community through pop culture.
That sounds amazing. I'll definitely check that one out and add it to my list. I feel like you've given me so many amazing recommendations. One of my goals this year is to read more, so I need to start getting through them.
That's great. Always happy to provide a book recommendation. You have so many fantastic, diverse recommendations. I love it.
Oh, thank you. I'm so excited today because we've got one of our Spoony ambassadors here, Chanelle Morris, who is a public speaker, event and workshop host, disability advocate and educator, and also a podcast host. Chanelle has grown up with 30% vision and is legally blind in her right eye.
Chanelle openly shares her experiences as a disabled person across her social media channels and also shares a lot of wisdom related to mindset and resilience. She is also one of our wonderful Spoony ambassadors and we're so excited to be partnering with her. Welcome, Chanelle.
Thank you so much. It's so good to be here. I appreciate it. And yeah, it's nice to be in Melbourne for a change.
Absolutely. It's so good to all be together in person as well.
Finally,
meeting.
Finally. Yeah.
Yes, finally.
Yes.
So Chanelle, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and also your journey that you've taken to do the work that you do now in the disability advocacy and speaking spaces?
Absolutely. Where to begin? So as mentioned, I've got 30% vision total and am legally blind in my right eye. I was born with this condition, they believe, and I've lived with it my whole life. And yeah, I've had many challenges growing up with disability on my path, and it's not until in the last year or two that everything changed for me with my mindset on my disability and how it was impacting me. So one of the key things that kind of changed everything for me was I essentially went through a bit of a crisis and I hit rock bottom and I decided that I needed to change things up and sent myself to New Zealand for a solo ski season. Now, having 30% vision, I can't read almost anything basically. And so this was terrifying, but I needed to change things up. And it was in New Zealand that everything changed for me. I was so independent. All my confidence came. Like, if you guys knew me beforehand, I'm such a different person now. And yeah, it was that really showed me that all I needed was myself, whereas I've always grown up having disability, feeling like I need other people. And then all of my confidence grew from there. And then as being a speaker, I feel like confidence is a big level of that. So from New Zealand, I started to post my journey online, and someone asked if I wanted to speak at their Christmas party and just share my story. And so that was like my first gig, I suppose. And when I got up on stage, I loved it, which is very random. And I think it's like 1% of the population actually like that. But ever since being young, I always loved going up on stage and just being in the spotlight kind of. So it makes sense. And then from there, it just grew and more people were asking me to come to their events. And that's when I was like, I really want to pursue this. And I've always wanted to help people, but I never knew how. And having my low vision, I did want to be like a paramedic or something on the front line. But I've decided that using my voice is my power, and that's also where the advocacy comes into it too. So using my voice is hopefully helping other people find theirs as well, and to be that person that I never had is my goal. So yeah.
That's amazing. And I love that you went to New Zealand too. Like skiing is so hard. And it sounds
the
like
hardest thing I've ever done.
That's such an incredible story. Also, like the only times I've ever done skiing or snowboarding, it was absolutely terrifying. Did you know how to do that before you went to New Zealand?
So I was a skier. My family is from New Zealand, like the South Island, but north, whereas Queenstown's a lot more south. So I'd never been to Queenstown before, but I've gone to a few other mountains when I was younger, and I just learnt to ski, I think, because my parents thought it was probably a bit easier having like two legs instead of being strapped into one thing. And so I just picked that up. I just would always go slow, but it felt quite comfortable to me. And when I went on my recent trip, I, for some reason, decided to not only just send myself overseas, but to also just decide to do snowboarding. So don't ask me why, but I seriously was like, let's just like turn this whole world upside down. And so I taught myself how to snowboard, and I was there for 12 weeks, so 3 months, and it took me about 5 weeks to really pick it up and become quite confident. And I just learned in the smaller area, like the slower slopes, and just took it at my own pace, which was great. And being there for such a long time, I had the time to actually do it. Trust me, there were a lot of tears and anger and frustration, and you didn't want to know me in those first 5 weeks, but I finally got it. And I just realized that having low vision, a lot of people think that things are quite scary, and they are. I've gone through lots of challenges, but when I'm learning something new, like snowboarding, for example, I can't see how steep the slopes are, or I can't see if there's like little divots and jumps and things. So it's kind of takes that fear element out of it for me, and I just go for it. I just do it. And a lot of people, I get questions every day, how do you do it? And I think it's just, I don't have that fear until I'm doing it, and I'm like, oh my God, this is a lot faster than I thought. But I just go for it because it's kind of like when like children, they don't have that fear, so they just do things. It's quite similar when I'm learning a new activity and I can't see, like same with like my speaking on stage, I can't see the audience and their faces and things. So if they don't like it, I don't know. So I'm just confident and I go for it. And it's like a double-sided. It's like having disability, I get nervous and have fears around things, but then also not knowing how fearful it is, it kind of helps me in a lot of ways. So
interesting. I never thought of it like that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
me neither.
Yeah, super interesting.
Yeah.
I want to go back to what it was like growing up for you a little bit. Can you talk a little bit about what school was like for you, and I guess what was your relationship like with your peers? Like, did you have any challenges throughout school?
Yes. Yeah, many. So I always say like through my education and employment are the biggest challenges I've ever faced with my disability. At school, there were some incidents that I went through that I think then shaped me and a lot of my negative beliefs now with my disability. And in particular, I was, I think, about the age of 10, and I share this in my speeches, and I love swimming, and I would I had a coach and I would do swimming lessons after school. And at the school swimming carnival, I was so excited for this day because I'd been practicing and everything, and Mum was there and the whole school was there in the grandstands. You can just picture it. And we were all lined up on the diving blocks and getting ready to go. The adrenaline was pumping, and then all of a sudden the coach stops the race and he grabs me off the diving block, walks me halfway down the pool and tells me to jump in there because it makes the race fair. And that just ruined my confidence. It took my autonomy away. It showed me that I was not as good as others. And because we all develop these beliefs, and that is one of mine, is I'm not as good as others because I have this and that. And this person showed me that was true on that day. And so being so young as well, our brains are like sponges, so we take everything in around us. And I think for me, that was the start of my journey with embarrassment with disability. And I ran to the bathroom. Mum said I never competed again. And so it's things like that kind of started. And then there were other events like I went to like a big hall. It was at school, but it was like a big fair or something was happening, and I couldn't find my friends. So I asked one of the teachers, and instead of like supporting me, they got up on the stage and like through the PA system were like, Chanelle, can't find such and such, and can you please come to the stage? And I had kids asking me for weeks what was wrong with me, because they were like, why did you need, like it was that. So that was like in my early stages of school. And then I think from that, I just had this lens of like, I can't be different, because I think in those moments it felt so awful that, and obviously, like, they stuck with me to this day, and I'm 25 now. So I think, I then went throughout school of like, no one can know. So I never spoke of my condition. Teachers would know just for like safety and things like that. But if the students knew, I would have a meltdown. I never spoke about it. I couldn't talk about it without crying and having a real reaction to it until... I just, year 11 and 12, that got a bit better for me, because I think I started to relax a bit more, and maybe more of my personality came through by then. And I had some really good friends, and they would like often read me the board. But instead of like, now where I'm more confident, I'd sit in the front row because I'm like, I need help, I deserve it. I would be like, no, I can't. So I'd sit in the back row with all my friends, but then I couldn't read what was going on. And I'd be so anxious. The teacher might ask me a question and I couldn't even read it. So I'd ask my friend to read what it said. But again, if she read too loud, I'd be like, shh, like, don't worry. And I just would sit there and have no idea. I don't even know how I passed, to be honest. But it was that type of thing through school. And I think a lot of it comes back to those early times. And I was just so focused on hiding my disability because I didn't want to feel that again than owning it. And so now often I think, I'm like, if I went back now, it'd be such a different experience. But I did have a good network of friends. But it was just, And then in year 12 as well, we got a new principal, and that did change everything for me. And I actually had meetings with him, and he put blinds in classrooms for me. He like painted all the stairs, and that really did change my experience too. I think I got a lot more confident and comfortable. So it was an interesting journey of education.
Thank you so much for sharing that. High school can be such a traumatic period of time, and your peers can be so cruel. Like, I can't even imagine what that would have felt like. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, it makes such a difference having teachers and support who understand and listen to you as well, even if they don't understand initially, just being able to listen.
Yeah, I think it makes or breaks the experience. Like in mine, how they were when I was younger, they just thought that they were helping, but just did the opposite, to then when I was in grade 11 and 12, when that new principal came in and he did all those things. I think that is really what changed it, and I felt comfortable. So I would say to the teachers, look, I can't see when you write in green, can you please like avoid it? And whereas, in the past I'd just sit there and go, oh my God, I can't see it. And so I think you're right. When someone does come in and they just want to listen and they want to offer support, it just creates that comfortable, supportive, safe space. And that's what changes things.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. It can make such a difference.
Yes. Yeah.
So you've spoken a little bit before about how you found out as a 16-year-old that you wouldn't be able to drive a car or live independently. Yeah. Do you mind sharing about what it was like to receive this news and what happened after that?
Yes. So I think I was older in my grade than all of my friends. So my family and I knew that this was going to come this day. But I think me, with like just being quite hopeful as a person in general, I was always like, look, maybe I can do everything. Like, I might be able to drive. But I think my parents knew maybe not. So we're kind of like, they were trying to prep me for this day, just saying, if you're not, like, it's still okay. And then the day came, and it was just time to get my learner's license. And I went to my specialist appointment, and I had to do this test I'd never done before. And it was like to test all your peripherals and everything. And you put your head in this box and you like click a buzzer every time you see a red dot. And my dad was sitting behind me. He came in with me, and I was, so excited, and I was clicking, but it was like at a very slow pace. It was like every couple of seconds. And Dad behind me, I could see him I could feel him like fidgeting. I could just feel someone there. And I just knew that I was failing the test. Like, I could just feel it. And then after, I'm going to get upset. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Take your time.
Come clearly still a pain point.
We don't have to talk about it as well if you don't want to.
Fine. I'll just, it's good because it shows people that you don't shove your emotions down because they, yeah. Okay. All right, I'm good.
Oh, I always cry when people cry. Sorry. Keep going.
Okay. All right, we're back. So at the end of the test, I said to my dad, like, how did I go? And I just knew that that I had failed. And yeah, I just felt like my world had like crumbled, and the way that I had like placed a lot of my value on it, which we do with a lot of things, it kind of just sent me spiraling a bit. And I remember leaving the specialist that day, and I think the way that my like family were coping as well, it was more like they're there to support me, but also like, let's move on now. Like, let's look at like, you can do so much more and that. So I kind of shoved a lot of it down, those feelings, as you can tell. If you don't feel it, it stays. So yeah, it was a really difficult time for me, and especially when going back to school and obviously not being able to drive. And then it was the feelings of, like the failure and the like, it really set me apart from others because, as I said, growing up at school, I tried to hide it as much as I could, and I got pretty good at it, I think. Like I mastered it. I just did well. Whereas this was like very clear, you are different. Like there is a very clear line between you and everyone else. So that was really hard to navigate. And it was kind of put in my face a lot more then of like, wow, like I can't hide this anymore, which in hindsight is a good thing. I've finally come out and I'm owning my disability. So yeah, it was really hard. And then after everyone started to get their licenses, because I was the first one, and that was also difficult to be happy for people, but also like not happy at the same time. And yeah, so it was exciting because like I got to go in the car with friends and that type of thing, go to Macca's. But it was like bittersweet almost, and it was just about trying to not put myself down during these times because it is nothing I have control over. And yeah, it was a very big learning experience. And then again, when my sister, she's about 4 years younger than me, when she got hers, that sent me spiraling again because I was 20. And it was like someone so young, my little sister, who I'm supposed to be like the bigger one in this situation, is achieving something that I can't. And she was driving me around, and I just felt, I didn't have much independence, and I just felt like a child almost. So yeah, it was very difficult to overcome, and is probably the biggest pain point that I have, as you can tell. But it's quite different, where it's like I save on money, I save petrol. Like I have there's so many benefits to it. I don't have like, the risk of driving, and there's just so many things that now that I look at the positives in it. Every now and then I'll still have my down days of like, I wish, or like if someone doesn't turn up on time to take me to an appointment, it's like if I drove, I might be there on time. It's just little things like that send me a little bit spiraling, but I'm way better at bringing myself back now. And again, it's like, I have no control over that, but I have control over my reaction. And now it's about calming myself down when I'm triggered and just really looking at the positives if I can. And again, just letting myself feel it though, because you need to feel it to heal it. And that's a huge lesson that I've learned during that. So yeah, that's things still come up, but I manage it a lot better now. And it makes me who I am, and I wouldn't want it any other way. So it's just trying to find those positives where you can.
I love that.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing.
Sorry.
No, never be sorry for showing your emotions, especially not here. This is a safe space.
Absolutely. And I love your mindset around everything as well. Like to be able to reframe an experience like that to, not paying for petrol, like that's, you have such a strong mind. And as someone who accidentally let their license lapse 2 days ago.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. But thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
I want to fast forward to now. So you've done some solo travel, you're doing some amazing speaking and advocacy work, you're hosting walking groups. I even saw that you've signed up for a marathon, half marathon.
Yes.
Amazing.
Still amazing. Your life looks so full of things that bring you joy. What was the pivotal moment for you, and how did you slowly start to shift your outlook on life?
So it'll go back to the New Zealand trip. So when I was it's about 2 years ago now. So about the age 23. And I had these negative beliefs, as I touched on earlier, and it was like, you know, I'm not good enough and I can't do these things. So having low vision, you know, I couldn't go to the grocery store because I can't read the items and find them. And then like same with clothes shopping, I can't read like the sizing and the pricing, and meeting people in public was terrifying for me. What if I waved at the wrong person? And all of it came down again to that embarrassment wound of like, if I waved at the wrong person, how embarrassing. Or if I can't read something, oh my God, something's wrong with me. So they started to seriously suffocate me. And I actually lost one of my relationships from that because I just became housebound. I was like, I can't leave. Like it just became so much for me. And so losing that relationship, which was like a lifeline for me, seriously sent me to rock bottom. And then I also had to leave my job, which I loved, because I just became all too much. I was in like fight or flight, basically. So that is why I ended up going to New Zealand. I just needed a new space. I just needed a fresh start and to like jolt the system, literally. So that is why I made that decision to go over there. And it was over there that I realized that all those beliefs that I had and all those things I just mentioned that were holding me back, like not going grocery shopping, not doing all those stuff. New Zealand, I had no choice but to do it all. So I would have to I had to catch the bus, work out that system, go to the grocery store. I still had barriers. I still couldn't read them, but I would FaceTime my mum, or I would ask people to help me. And it's where my confidence grew, because I actually started asking for help because I had to eat. So I had to ask for help. So that's where I realized that it's actually safe to ask for help. And it's like a right almost. Like I deserve to get the help that I need. And that just showed me from just every day doing these things, like learning to snowboard, learning where like the restaurants were, like what, you know, reading menus. I just had to do everything instead of like, no, I can't, like my eyes. It was like, I have to, and it showed me that I can. So that is what changed everything for me. That's where the confidence came. That's where I just found who I am now. Like I feel like I'm actually myself. I'm not this hidden version of me anymore. And it all came because every single day there was evidence stacking up so high of like, I did this, I actually can do all these things. And that's where everything changed for me. And then since then, my mindset has like never gone back. It's like your comfort zone. So once you expand it, which is what I was doing every day, it's like a plastic bag. It will never shrink to that original size again. It just won't. So now since then, it's like I will never go back to that way of thinking again. And I think that's why my mindset is so great now. And that's just my way forward now. I never, will go back to that thinking because I've expanded it and it just won't go back to that size again. So yeah, it was an incredible journey and I learned so much. And trust me, like I had my moments of I was stuck between like self-doubt and encouragement, and I had to talk to myself during every activity, like strapping into my snowboard boot or like on the bus being like, you've got this, like you can do it. And then once I did do it, it showed me that like I can do much harder things. And there's actually science behind it. And there's a podcast like episode that I had listened to and on the plane over actually. And it just explained to me that literally we have a part in our brain, and the more we push ourselves, it actually grows. Like we grow a part of our brain and acts like a muscle. And the more we use it, the more we get used to that. And then, we can do much harder things. And that's exactly what's happened to me. Because looking back now, back then, looking at where I am now, I would have been like, no, absolutely not. There's no way. That is just, and so, now it's like exciting because it's like, what else can I overcome? And I love challenging myself. Like even flying down here solo, terrified of flying, but I do it. And it's like, what next? Like I could go to Canada. I don't know. Let's calm down. But, it's just, and that changed everything. New Zealand just, shock to the system.
That's fantastic. It's so amazing when you challenge yourself how you can really overcome so much, and so much about mindset. Yes. Yeah, you really got me inspired to tackle some things so that I've been scared of.
That's so incredible. And I also love that, was it the plastic bag analogy? Yeah, I feel like I've heard that before and you just reminded me of it. And that podcast that you touched on about that part in the brain that grows when you do hard things. I need to go back and listen to that because I love listening to all of those things. We might take a quick break, and then when we come back, I want to chat to you about dating and friendship with a disability.
Yes, that sounds great.
Hey Maddie, I want to talk about something that's been a total game changer for the neurodivergent, chronically ill and disabled community.
Oh, you mean Spoony?
I do, but today I want to focus on one of their standout features, the journal for symptom tracking. Whether you're managing flare-ups, trying to spot patterns, or just need a space to unload your thoughts, Spoony's journal is a tool you didn't know you needed.
And it's so easy to use. You can track how you're feeling day to day, jot down notes about your symptoms, and even tag triggers or treatments to see what's working and what's not. Over time, it helps you make sense of what might otherwise feel totally random.
Plus, you don't have to worry about ever feeling judged. It's private, secure, and designed with empathy in mind. It's like having a health diary that gets you.
Honestly, it's perfect if you're looking to take charge of your health while staying in tune with yourself.
So, if you're ready to track your symptoms, find patterns, and gain some real insight into your health, download Spoony now and check out their journal feature. It's a little extra support in your pocket right when you need it most.
Spoony. It's more than just an app. It's your safe, stigma-free space for friends, support, and now powerful tools like symptom tracking.
You can download it in the App Store or Google Play and try it for free today.
So you've shared a little bit online about some of the challenges that you've faced with friendship and dating with a disability. What are some of those challenges, if you feel like sharing? And can you share any of those stories with us?
Absolutely. So I think that, as I said, like at school, like we'll talk about friendships first. I had some really good friends around me, and I guess like I was hiding a part of myself. So they might not have been so authentically true to me, but at the time it was a great group of friends. And at school, I think a lot of the time we just try and click to people just so, that social isolation and thing like that. So it was good. I did have a few friends, and as I said, like they would help me read in class and stuff like that, which was great. And as I got older, I, just like everyone, we lose friendships and we make new ones, and that was kind of happening. However, I must say, and it even happens now, if someone comes in and out of my life, I do go into a little bit of a spiral because I think that it's something to do with like me and that type of thing. And I do have to really bring myself back to like, it's not because you have low vision. It's because it's just life, and it happens to all of us. And that's been a big thing recently that I've had to kind of go and just realize, because I can get quite down. And for some reason, I think it's because obviously I've grown up with this disability. So anything that kind of happens that's a little bit negative in my life, the first thing I think about is like, it's because of my eyes, it's because of this. But it's about, I guess, reframing and bringing myself back to the reality of the situation and trying to balance my emotions with my logic. And it's like, this actually happens to everyone. So I have navigated through that and had some good friendships. I did really struggle though, friendship-wise, when I left school, and everyone went different ways, and I had people go, to Brisbane and different states for uni and everything. And it's terrifying trying to make new friends, let alone adding a disability in there as well. And so I didn't know where to go, what to do. I volunteered for a bit and made some friends through that, which was good. But I had a lot of issues with employment, and I didn't work in just a traditional office space, so it was hard to make friends. And then I was nervous to go to gym classes because of the barriers there with seeing the weights, or if machines are free, and classes, like what if we do something that I can't do, like catching a ball, for example, or just something like that. So I had a lot of anxiety around it, and that's when I did kind of hit that rock bottom as well, because I didn't have anyone around me except for my one relationship. And when that kind of ended as well, it was just a whole spiral. But since then, I think that with the confidence that it really helps me to go out there now, and I will just talk to anyone about anything. So that's been a lot better. And in New Zealand, I was forced to make friends because what was for 3 months, I was like, I can't just sit here, and I'm here to challenge myself. So that was really helpful. And then once I started even just making one friend, I was like, oh my God, I can make more. And I've brought all of that back now home with me. And same thing, like I'll just, as you said, I host weekly walks and just meeting people like that. And so that's been really good and really helpful. And obviously coming across Spoony and meeting people online as well that then can, if you're in the same area, you can meet. And it's so helpful. So that's been really good. But going back to, when it was hard with my friends, as well as like when I couldn't drive, I would have my friends offer to drive me. And this is something I still do struggle with. And it's that almost like a burden type feeling. And it's they'll offer to pick me up, but I always feel like I need to pay them. I need to do something because if it was the other way around, I would absolutely pick all my friends up, like that's fine. But for some reason, when it's like on them, I feel really bad and almost like guilty that I'm like, these people are coming out of their way to pick me up. And so I struggled with that for a long time. I paid a lot of my friends and bought them lunches and probably a lot more than petrol would cost. But I just felt like I had to do this for them. And so that was quite difficult as well, navigating that. And then people that would be happy to accept all the things that I was offering. And it was just a bit hard to navigate that. And then dating with a disability as well, it's similar in the sense of feeling like a burden again, or just like when I was dating people, it's them having to pick me up from places. And so if people, for example, I was asking them to pick me up from somewhere, or if they could drop me off, and if they had like a little reaction that was a bit like, oh, okay, or, do I have to? I would take it so personally, and I would just shut down and be like, don't worry about it. It's all good. And I would spiral again because I just felt like I was too much. I was a burden, when really they were just probably having a busy day. And they were like, yeah, okay, give me 5, which is such a normal reaction. But I just was taking it personally. So I struggled to navigate that because I also would get very triggered and I would snap or I would shut down, and then that would cause friction in relationships and friendships. And so it's been very difficult to navigate. But again, the apps are like, it's quite helpful with Spoony, and just being able to meet and talk about this stuff online, and then hopefully like meet up in person. Because again, as I do share on my socials, from those experiences that I've had, I am nervous to date. And I think it's such a nerve-wracking thing regardless. And then adding disability, it's just another layer. So it's like what goes through my head now when I am dating, because I'm back in the dating game again. And it's like, where do I begin? It's worrying about spotting that person in public, which is huge for me. Again, that embarrassment wound. And it's like, what if I go to the wrong person? What if they think, something's wrong with me? Then it's actually at the date, doing the activity, am I going to face barriers? What if I can't see this and that? When do I disclose to this person? And that is the biggest thing that I find. It's like, if I'm talking to them on an app or something, do I tell them then? But then they don't have context, and I feel like people need to meet me, and there's this fear around disability, which is ridiculous. And so I just think that, it's just, when do you disclose? And then when you're in person, like, when do you bring it up? Like, you sit down, so by the way, like, what is it? And then you're waiting for their reaction. And again, if they're a little bit negative, it's that spiral, it's taking it personally. So it's a cycle. But what I've realized recently, and a lot of people online have helped me as well through this journey, and it's, if someone has a negative reaction, that's on them. It's nothing to do with you. That is my biggest point for people to know and hear, because it's so true. We do take things personally and we spiral, and it's like, that's their reaction that they can have, but they're not our people. And why? If I feel like I need to hide this from this person on my date, they're not for me, because am I supposed to spend my life hiding it from them? Like, it's actually, I like dating with disability now, because it's like, I'm going to know about this person in like 5 minutes, and I'm going to know if they are worth going on another date or not. It's actually good, instead of going on like 5 dates and being like, it's like right then and there, how they react is like, okay, yep, this could be something, or no, you're not for me. So I do actually think it's quite good. And then also it's letting that person be curious and have questions, because we all do, but just not overstepping your boundaries and stuff like that. So it's an interesting space to navigate. I've had some experiences that have made me feel a little bit like a burden, but now knowing that it's not to do with me, that's kind of relieved me, and I taken a weight off my shoulder, and now it's actually fun and exciting to date. So
that's so exciting. I love how you've reframed that, as you can now kind of see the person for who they are when they kind of have a response to disclosing that. And I also struggle with disclosing and dating as well. I'm back in the dating game, and it's tough.
Scary. But it's it's scary, but then again, it comes back to that comfort zone thing, and it's like, every time we go on a date, we are pushing ourselves out of our comfort zone, growing that part of our brain to do much scarier things. And I think it teaches us a lot about us and what we want as well in people. And it's like, that's probably an ick or whatever. And it's it's quite good. So reframing is the key. Yeah.
That's so interesting.
I want to ask you about the online disabled community. How has this community helped you on your journey, and how do you think online communities like Spoony will help the disability community?
I think to start with, social isolation is massive. So for Spoony, I just think the app is incredible because I've not known any other platform that's like it. And essentially it's like a safe space for you to, post a status or post how you're feeling and not have people hate on you. If it's like Facebook or something, for example, it's like even in the local community pages, I don't know if you've seen any of them, but someone will post something and the comments are just awful and tears people down. So from my experience with Spoony and a lot of my followers' experience with Spoony, it's a safe space, which we need. And because without a safe space, you're not going to feel like you can share and open up and actually start healing our wounds that we have or connecting with people in an authentic way. So I do feel like Spoony is the way forward to help combat social isolation. It's a step in the right direction. And I think that everyone feels it at some point in their life of feeling isolated and even alienated. And I think that this is a great way to bring people together because it is safe, and also people might not have the exact same condition as you or experiences, but they can understand on a different type of level of even just how I said dating's terrifying and how you were like, you agree. And it's just that type of thing where you can have mutual understanding of things. And I think that is where Spoony can provide that. So that's why I really love the app, and I'm very happy to be an ambassador for it because it just aligns perfectly. So yeah, I think that is great, as well as the community that I've even built on TikTok or on social media. It's that safe space that I try and provide to people, even in my comment section on my videos, and sharing what life is like with disability, because 90% of change is awareness. So how do we expect anything to change unless we are spreading awareness? That's where the advocacy comes in for me. So that is why I post videos on social media, because it's the quickest way to get in front of people and show them, next time maybe I'll look at the lighting in my cafe because a lot of people can't access it, or make sure the elevator is actually working and things like that. So that is my main goal, is to spread awareness. But in that, I'm finding that the community I've built in the comment section is incredible, and people are telling me their stories. I get messages every day of their stories and how they relate to parts of my video. Not the same condition, but that doesn't matter. It's still, not being able to access this, or I'm just bringing light and awareness to it. My vulnerability is showing people and helping them to also be vulnerable. And even people that don't have disability have been commenting saying, I'm so glad I now know about this. I had no idea before. Like I couldn't catch a bus recently because I can't read the bus numbers. And I had a lot of people without disability saying, I would never have thought about this. So it's great. And then I think people are seeing these comments as well. And it's really helping us connect with one another, but also it's connecting with people that also don't have disability, that want to learn about it and want to be included. And I think it's, the way forward is the spreading awareness, and having this community is what we need to not feel alone, because the amount of times I felt alone growing up, especially hiding my disability, I wouldn't wish that on anyone. So to have a community, if I had this when I was younger, my experience might have been a lot different. So I want to be that person that I never had. And same with Spoony. Having Spoony is that platform that I never had. And so now I want everyone to know about it, because it helps people connect. It helps people not feel alone, because when you're going through something and you feel like you're the only one going through it, there is no worse feeling. So I think Spoony and online social media can help so much.
I love that so much. Like, you're building such a beautiful community, not just, in your own page, but also, bringing people to Spoony, and your message is just so powerful. You're doing such amazing work spreading awareness, and we're so excited to be partnering with you on Spoony. If people want to learn more about you, Chanelle, where can they find you?
So I am on TikTok mainly, is my platform. I have on Instagram as well, and it's just my name, Chanelle Morris, with 2 S's. I think maybe they'll be in the show notes or something. So on all social media really, and I'm getting into YouTube as well, that space. And then I've got like a website as well with a lot of my speaking and videos and things like that on there, and events and stuff like that are coming up for me. So but definitely TikTok is the main one where I do share everyday life with disability and navigating the challenges, but also talking about the wins and how we can reframe things, and all about mindset and everything. So
Thank you so much for speaking with us, Chanelle. It has been so wonderful to meet you and talk with you. I think that's a great spot to wrap up on. Thank you so much for everything.
Thank you so much for having me and for just introducing Spoony to me as well. I think when I saw you post on I put a post out there saying what can help, and you commented Spoony, I was like, this is incredible. So it's so good to be here and meet you guys as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This podcast is brought to you by Spoony, a safe space for neurodivergent, chronically ill and disabled people to make friends and find support. Spoony is the world's first social app designed with accessibility at its core. If you liked this episode, it would mean the absolute world to us if you could hit subscribe or share it with a friend. If you'd like to join our Spoony community, you can download the app via the App Store or Google Play. And if you'd like to keep up to date with us on social media, you can follow us via the links in the show notes.